Yes, thank you. Yes. Uh, Good morning to all. And today, just another topic on counseling. It is regarding what I can say that the models or approaches of counseling. I'm going to discuss only one part of models. There are many models are available, and there are many perspectives are there to deal with models and approaches. So only one component I discussed in my presentation. There is I will add on one more presentation at the end of my presentation. I will share within the Google group, WhatsApp group. You can get the information also. So it is our third day of our counseling program and intensive program regarding counseling. And today I'm going to discuss about the models and approaches of counseling. We will look at the meaning of the model. For example, when we don't know anything, so when you want to say that the globe, how it will be look like, the globe structure will be there. Likewise, we have the thing used to explain the particular component, to imitate, model. There are 3D models, 2D models, they will say that. When you want to say that structure of your house, we go for model. Model will help us know that in the pathway of reaching the thing. For example, the map between Madurai to Chennai, the distance, we can able to use the model to understand that how it will be. The smart city of Madurai and Chennai, they are having the model. So model is an example and replication of the thing in a smaller manner. We can able to understand exactly what we are going to discuss, what we are going to understand. Approach is something. It is a way of dealing with situation or a problem. It is more or less a counseling. It is a way of dealing with the situation or a problem that we can say that approach. As we all know that counseling is a scientific process. It is a scientific process which enables the person to make his own decisions for the problem they are facing. So that is the counseling we all know about it. The models of counseling. Models of counseling is sometimes otherwise called approaches to counseling. Approaches of counseling, and it refers to a professional way of dealing the situation. Yesterday you had a session with Axial Explains. He explained very detailed about the different types of counseling, and there are many ways we can deal the situation. It may be directional, or it may be non-directional, or it may be eclectic. So that we can say that is the way we will deal with a particular component. And there are 12 models are there in counseling. As I said in the beginning itself, this is only one perspective. There are different ways we can discuss, we can approach the counseling. This is one perspective. There are 12 models of counseling. What are they? One is a psychodynamic approach. It's very popular. I can say this is the first approach for counseling also. Formally, it is the first approach. And interpersonal counseling and client-centered counseling. We all know that the famous humanistic psychologist, I think his contribution in the field of counseling made a revolution. Why I'm saying the revolution? Nowadays, when you go to and observe any kind of counseling center, and 85% of people, they are using this client-centered therapy only. And it has a huge benefit to the counselors. When the client say that what you said I followed, but it is not working, you are the responsible. This kind of comment we may not get it in the client-centered therapy, because the role of therapist is on merely a facilitator. Merely a facilitator, he will facilitate what the person has to do. And existential therapy. So it is a difficult to want to understand that existential therapy. Existential therapy is a philosophical finding meaning in our life. Logotherapy is a part of that existential therapy only. And another one is cognitive behavior therapy. I think which made after client-centered therapy. In client-centered therapy, after that, the cognitive behavior therapy very widely used therapy in practice. And it will not work for children. That's why they combine cognitive and behavior therapy. Earlier, it was only the cognitive therapy and behavior therapy, and now they merged in the cognitive behavior therapy. When there are two people who are joined and they do the wonders, and here the cognitive behavior therapy amazingly working for all the developmental stages, including children, adolescents, adult and elderly population. And mindfulness-based counseling, I think, is a recent approach to the counseling. Very mindfulness is not a new to us, especially for Indian. It is not a new to us. And what is that? We have done a meditation, am I right? The meditation, they refined it and they are using in different subsets and they give a name called mindfulness. Doing one work at a time. Doing one work at a time. So mindfulness-based counseling is another model in counseling. And rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. It is like a modified version of CBT. So CBT, Aaron Beck developed this one, and this REBT, Albert Ellis, is a modified version. But when you look at the history, before CBT, the concept of rational emotive therapy emerged. I wonder how it happened. I don't know. There may be a reason. They included cognitive, behavior, and emotional component which were not included here. And this rational emotive therapy, rational means cognitive, cognition and emotion and behavior, and combined therapy is another approach. And reality therapy. Reality therapy are the one who criticizes optimism and positive psychology. They said that see, everyone we want to become successful and we don't want to have any problem in our life. I think you all agree with me. And the reality therapy, the optimism and other positive psychology, they think about that, okay, you feel that you are good at it and that will make a change. But reality therapy, no, don't do that. You accept what you are. Don't exaggerate what you are having. Don't have that positive component. That is the reality therapy. And constructionist. Lev Vygotsky and Asbel Ronan, these were the people we can able to construct any kind of thing we want in a person. Construction will happen in society, construction will happen in that individual itself. So their approach is totally different, and when we have the support and how we will have the potential to solve the problem, that discussed in this therapy. And systemic therapy. Systemic therapy is what I can say that it is an like a systematic procedure. No? So we have to go by step by step. So there is a system, there is a model that we have to follow. Narrative therapy, it allows the client to express their feelings, and through which we will understand that, through which they can release their burden of cognitive burden as well as emotional burden, and they feel relaxed. Narrative therapy by storytelling also it is very widely used. And creative therapy, recently there are many sub dimensions also. Creative therapy, the creative art therapy, creative movement therapy, creative dance therapy. Movement and dance therapy are different, and this is a very upcoming one, and a lot of people are practicing, and I hope in the future it has a huge scope in the field of counseling. We have to understand that these are the approaches. Some people they expect client-centered therapy that will be more effective. Some people, and some people the reality therapy will be more effective, and some people the constructionist therapy will be more effective. So our idea as a counselor, your effectiveness, your efficiency will be determined by looking at what approach you have selected for the problem of the person. So that we have to understand that you selected the particular approach for the particular problem of the particular developmental stage. That shows your efficiency. That shows your efficiency. When you know that when to use these things, and you are the master of counseling. And the first dynamic, the first approach, model is a psychodynamic approach. We all know that Sigmund Freud is a pioneer, and before him there are Joseph Breuer. There are many people are there, and along with Sigmund Freud, Albert Adler and Carl Jung are the two persons who are associated in dynamic. What is psychodynamic? Psyche means our behavior. What are the behaviors are there in psycho? There are two behaviors, overt behavior and covert behavior. Our external behavior and cognitive thought. Emotion as well as cognitive thought that comes into here. And dynamic, it is not a static one. It is unchanging. It is unchanging. So you have to understand that some people will say that, sir, he will be there good in for 10 days. After 10 days, he will be totally changed. Okay. So the full moon day, this concept is very common among the villages, and they said that he will be on the particular day, he will be very aggressive, and those kind of comments. So psychodynamic isn't changing; it's not a constant one. And what is normal, what is abnormal, we have to understand. And this approach is very interesting one. It focuses on there are our past experiences are there. Every one of us we are having, and these dynamic psychodynamic approaches, they trace that, for example, if I have a problem right now, and their ultimate conclusion is that I must have some childhood, the past experiences, which is disturbing for my present day problem, the current day problem. So that's why when you look at that psychodynamic approaches, they try to find out any childhood traumatic experiences influences on their problem. They will trace out that. Even Sigmund Freud himself, he wrote in his diary, sometimes he may not be able to get the childhood traumatic experiences from the client by using hypnosis technique. And he fabricated the data. He admitted at the end, he fabricated the data because he believed that if a person having any psychological problem, that must have a root in the childhood traumatic experiences or childhood sexual abuses. Okay. And some people who have not said that, even there are some people who recorded that the fantasy, they imagine that this kind of thing happened. Okay, they may have some better experience somebody else, but they exaggerate that, okay, this person has done these things. And that kind of information also influences his data, later stages. And our personality. Okay, that is if there is a change, there is an influence on personality. What is personality according to Sigmund Freud? A good personality is life instinct and death instinct. Okay, and the libido, the flow of libido is, there is no distractions, there is no block in that flow of libido. His personality will be good, or her personality will be good. If there is a block, and that means, for example, I like to eat something, I'm not able to eat that, and there is a block on the right. And if the blocks are there, I will attain gratification in other mode. My libido is blocked. I will attain the gratification in different mode. For example, I can imagine that I can think that I can eating that. During my sleep, the dreams will come. So these unconscious drives, okay. And if we are having any problem, there are unconscious drives that influence on our personality makeup. According to his psychodynamic approach, not only Sigmund Freud, it includes all the people. That's why I'm not given 6. Sigmund Freud said that when the person not attaining sexual gratification, that will lead many problems, orally and polyc, all the stages. And other psychologists like other psychodynamic personalities like Adler and Carl Jung, they said that no, it's not about sex. It may be anything. It may be any their desires which were not gratified immediately, and that leads to problem. Not only sexual content. That was the understanding about psychodynamic approach. The best example for yesterday, you had on 3 types of counseling. What are they? Let's say a classified. There are 3 types of counseling.
Direct, indirect, and elliptic.
So here there is an example for direct counseling. Here counselor are not having any role at all. Here therapist will say that what I'm saying you have to follow. So that is the main example for the best example for direct counseling is a psychodynamic approach. And the next one is interpersonal counseling. Interpersonal counseling is mostly the problem or conflict arises when they are not having the good relationship, interpersonal with other members. And it is mainly focused on the diagnostic focused. Diagnosis means if I want to know that whether I'm having the COVID-19 virus or not, the swab test they will diagnose. Okay. Or there is a blood glucose level high or low, we will take a diagnosis. Blood test we will take it. So it is an interpersonal counseling. It mainly focused on diagnosis, the assessment based component. They look at whether the person having good relationship with other members. And if for example, a particular person may not have a good relationship with anybody else. That means the person having a problem. And for those people, especially the couples and married, this interpersonal counseling will be more effective, as I said. When you know when to use which approach, here is the interpersonal relationship with the family members, and there you can use it. And the person not able to have sustained the relationship with other members in their career, and we can use this interpersonal counseling. Here, what they will do, the role is it's like they will co-facilitate. Okay, they will become a model. They will not teach them. They will not say that what they can become a model, and they will give. They allow the client to make on decisions. They allow the client make on decision, but they will find out that okay, where you are making mistake. These are the good options. Are that you can make it. So that kind of facilitation they will do in interpersonal counseling. And the client-centered therapy purely, and the role is it isn't detached with the client. That point I can say it is focused on the client, and this theory believes that every human being having the potential to solve their own problem. If every one of us we are having the potential to solve our own problem, it is based on the humanistic approach model. Humanistic approach model. So what is humanistic approach? Self-realization, self-actualization. Everyone you are having the potential. Don't depend on anybody else. You are not low to anybody else. You are someone saying that I'm having these many abilities. If a person say, if he prove that you also having those potential, that is the humanistic approach. Every one of us we are unique. And when you self-realization, you will understand that the phase may vary. You can take in a classroom. Everyone will learn. Some people very quickly learn, some people take time. That is the difference. So everyone will learn. That is the point they said. And this client-centered therapy, it focuses on enable the individual, that means the client who is coming for counseling, we have to make them realize that, man, you have more than anybody else. So that understanding when you make the person, that's called client-centered therapy. And it supports the client to discover that what is the appropriate solution for the problem they are having. It's not giving the solution to the person. It's support, okay, can you please tell me if I have the problem, so what kind of solution you will give? And they will give that, okay, why don't you use these things for your problem? So that is the way they will. And three words are very important in client-centered therapy. One is empathetic. Rapport building, the term you may hear when that process. Empathetic means understanding from the perspective. Generally, someone come and say that, do you know I'm having the pain? And yes, I know, don't say that. See, you can say the word like that. I understand that you are encountering the pain, but I may not be able to experience what your experience is, maybe more. So that is the word you can say. No, I know this kind of experience. If you say that, okay, this person will not understand. That concludes in the beginning itself, they will know. Non-judgmental. Okay, if it is on the particular culture, particular religion, they will be like that only. Non-directive. It's a non-directive. It's not focused about say, do this thing, that thing. You have to be unconditional positive regard from the day one itself. Like mother showing love to the children. The same way you have to show to the client. Okay. So these are the main components of client-centered therapy. And existential therapy, as I said earlier, it is a philosophy-oriented concept. Focus on what it means to be alive. Now, why we are alive, why we are here in the particular time. When we focus on finding meaning and purpose of this life, and that is existential therapy. And this therapy, there are many people who have contributed. So the main person I can say that Viktor Frankl, the logotherapy founder. Viktor Frankl is a Jew. he was under the capture of Nazis concentration camp. Concentration camp is something during the Hitler period, the people were put in a room and the mass massacre will happen. They will kill everybody in a room, the poisonous gas, and then they burn alive. There are many ways. They invented many techniques to kill the Jews. Okay. So while he was there in the concentration room, he know that at any time he may die. At any point of time, he will be died. In that situation, he focused on that. How, why we are here, why it is happening to us, why it is not happening to them, why they are doing that. To find answer for that, the existential therapy arise. It is a non-symptom focus. It's not about the person having the problem and coming for them. No, it's not about that. Just merely a person coming and finding meaning in their life and purpose. There are many people, still you can ask yourself, do you have the purpose? And if not, then that is the right therapy of the that. And here the client guided in discovering unfulfilling needs and realizing their potential. This more or like humanistic approach, something. Some base of humanistic approach will be there. Guide them, discover that, okay, these are the things you have to do in your life. You born here for do something. And if you don't do that, and you are not fulfilling your life. And understand that, yes, you can do that. If someone can do that, you can also do that. That is an existential therapy. And another approach is on cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, the very popular one. It merges two combined. It is a blend of cognitive therapy and behavior therapy, cognitive behavior therapy. It focuses on how both thoughts and behavior affect our outcomes. These theories on, they will say that triad is the component in REPT. They will say that when you change your thought, you can be able to change your behavior. When you change your behavior, you can be able to change your thought. So that is the core idea of this approach. It is an evidence-based. There are a lot of evidences are there. And most effective and highly versatile approach in counseling. When you ask the person who are in the counseling, so which technique you are using, they will say that as per my knowledge, presently 90% of people are using cognitive behavior therapy. Up to other component maybe, but these techniques are widely used. Cognitive restructuring, behavior modeling, and these were very widely used. And mindfulness-based counseling is another approach where focused on the feeling and thoughts in the moment, at the present moment. Don't think about your past and future. Without judgment, you can think about at present. Live your life, enjoy, be happy. Don't think about if I do these things and someone think about the future, what will happen? No one will think about you. We may think about them only. No one will think about that. If I do these things, they will come and think and they will. So in these kind of things, when you check with yourself, there are many things we anticipate will not happen. Sometime it may happen, and I think we can accidentally. And the one thing, out of 100, one thing happen, you believe that all the 100, whatever we believe that will happen. That is a pseudo component. So mindfulness, doing one activity at a time, because our brain is made in that way, we can able to focus only one activity at a time, and then do one mindful activity at present, here and now. Now you have to focus on that. Don't focus on your past. Don't focus on your future. Present moment you are alive, you can do your activities. It is mindfulness includes CBT, and it is based on Buddhism philosophy, the mindfulness component, Zen therapy, and everything is being used here. And it's also like CBT, it is also a highly versatile one. We'll move on to the next approach, rational emotive behavior therapy. Now they added behavior component also, the triad model. And this model proposed by Albert Ellis. As I said earlier, I wonder, before cognitive therapy, this therapy was had in their mind. So cognitive therapy, thought process. They said that rational means here, logical, right? And emotion, heart. Head and heart we have to connect for providing the therapy. And many people, they were not given focus on the emotion components. Emotion also plays an important role for many of the conflict and problem faced by the client. So when we address those things, we can able to help the person to come out. Even Barbara Fredrickson, even Martin Seligman, and Mikage, there are many people who has done research experience. Many people who has done a research on these things, and they come up with that, yes, emotion has an important in counseling component. So, rational emotive behavior therapy or RE therapy, RET, focuses on how faulty thinking related to distress. For example, if someone is suspecting that behavior of other person, the partner, paranoia, suspecting someone, that will actually, it may not happen. The person thinks that will create a lot of stress. They think that, okay, the person I'm there, this kind of connection, he will be there and that. So they will connect, they will make a connection here and there. There is no connection at all, but they will make a connection. And the faulty thinking, that other words, it is otherwise called distorted thinking, cognitive bias. Okay. Cognitive biases, when we resolve the cognitive biases, we can able to overcome many of the problems. Here, therapists are more active and they give the direction to the person. Okay, we find out that the particular thought of yours are fault. For example, if someone is cheating me, what I will do, I will have the mindset that if he belongs to a particular community, all the persons in the community are cheaters. So that is the understanding I will have. Because one person cheated me and he told that I belong to that, he proudly said that I belong to a particular community or religion. And generalization will white and black. They will only thing they will accept it is a good, totally bad. But that kind of understanding also biases. No, it is a neutral, there are neutral way also there. So here, this method also another effective approach or model we can use in counseling, and reality therapy. Like other therapy, here it focuses on the present day. Like existential therapy, it also focuses on non-symptom focused. There are two to three therapy. When you look at that, it's not about the person having the problem, you have to give the counseling. No. Even without the problem, and we can, for example, wellness component. For that, we can able to give the present day they have to focus, a non-symptomatic component. It promotes individual responsibility and taking control of one's life. Okay. So what they will do? So when you ask yourself, what is your responsibility in a particular day? Have you fulfilled that? If not, they will ask them, you can do that. The self-regulation, the reality self-regulation, and taking control of their life. I think many of them, they will say that, no, I'm not, my life is not in my hand. It is that someone is having my control, my husband, my wife, my father, my parent. So they have the control of my life. Here we realize that it is your life, you have the control of that. Again, like non-directed counseling, the counselors here is a more positive approach. It's again more positive and non-judgment. And the positive here, the word understand that it's not about beyond that limit. For example, I can able to score 80 marks, but I scored an exam in 70. Positive means I can understand that yes, I can able to score 80 or 85. I cannot say that I will score 90. That is a very positive here. And constructionist. It is from learning theory perspective, and from the learning theory only this therapy and approach is very popular. Mostly where we are from that influences a lot in our life. It focuses on how culture influences. Tamil culture, Indian culture, we are saying a different Western culture. These culture influences of our mind in our life. The Indian perspective, interpretation, and help us to find the meaning. Yes, I'm here. We are proud about those things. The strong interest in language. They are saying support a lot, strong interest in language. And the language is what we are using also has impact on our personality. For example, you can listen that how many words you are speaking in a particular hour. And if you use more positive words, you'll be more positive person. If you use more negative words, you'll be a negative person. Language, NLP, CBT, all these things, REBT also focus on this language component. And this concept theory, it mainly focus on these two, culture and language. It claim driven the council act as a collaborator. They will say that, okay, you can, for example, here particular word is not appropriate. Can you able to change? Instead of that, I can't, but I need some more time. That way you can say that. So that is the way they will collaborate with the client and they will try to make a change in the client. And another approach is on systemic therapy. Systemic therapy which focus on how system that works and that system affect a particular problem. For example, a person who is studying in a school or college or in a particular home, they are having a set of rules and regulations that will affect the persons. No, they are saying that they are asking me to get up at 5:30, but it is not possible for me. So focus on the system, whether the system is responsible for the problem of the person. There are many things you can find out, but after marriage, when they move on to other family, and their 22, 25 years, they were somewhere else and they have a system, and when they go other places, their system is totally different. Whether that system affect their mental health component, cognitive, emotional, and behavior component, that need to be find out that, and if there's a changes, how they can adapt to them. It is not possible immediately, very next day I can change. Practically not possible. Okay. And the therapist, they will collaborate with the people and okay, these are the system, we can inform the system, can you make a change for that person? Or we can inform the person, can you adapt yourself for it? I can see the butterfly is coming here. I don't know where it comes. Okay. Systematic therapies, we can try to change some components of the system and we can adapt or adjust ourselves to the system. The next one is narrative therapy. Narrative therapy is a research technique also. Narrative method, they will say that. This technique is, this approach is focus on stories. They will ask them, can you please tell me the story about it? There are some people are very good at telling the story. When they telling the story, they are venting out the crowd. They are releasing their burden, they're releasing the problem they had. Sometimes when we talk with somebody very close to us, we feel more comfortable. Right? When they narrate a story, and sometimes they may hidden the what kind of problem they had. Sometimes they may blocks we can able to understand that is the counseling process. And this narration will help us. When they tell about their childhood experience, the particular time it comes, they will skip that particular component. We can say that they are having the resistance. And they want to black that component. They don't want to reveal to anybody else. They try to repress. And that when we listen very carefully, we can able to understand, okay, these are the area, the person and the problem that we can able to understand. And don't dig again and again. If the person is not comfortable, you can ask them. I think somewhere you are not giving the answer. If you feel comfortable at any time when you want to express this thing, can you tell me? Don't say that now you tell me here the area you are not focusing and skipping that. If you do so, and the person will not come for your second session for your counseling. Because they hiding it because they want to be, it is an individual, the personal information. You value them and you can make an impression that I will not reveal to anybody else. The contract you have to make the person, it is our ethical. When you make the person understand, okay, this person is more reliable, more integrated person. Integrity is very high in that person. So then they will come and reveal the compound. They will say that when the client saying the story, sometimes they may not know that how to say the story. You can give the case study of somebody else, Mr. DX, who had a problem like this, and this kind of problem, these were the root causes. And when you say the story and they can understand, okay, these are the areas we need to say to here also. There's no water here. And creative therapy is another thing. Creative therapy which focuses on use of artistic expressions. It is like cathartic release. Catharsis is venting out our undesirable emotions, undesirable thoughts, which were ungratified components are there in our mind and heart. When you release it and we feel more comfortable, and creative art therapy that focus on these components. It's like a cathartic technique, the creative way of releasing that catharsis. The reference, for example, as I said, libido, the word libido. The libido is something which need to be flow in a particular sequence. If there is a block, and we may not reach that our potentials, and we feel more disturbed. and that blockages can be removed by using creative therapy. You can, if the person having someone is hurting, when you ask them to draw the diagram, they will do the diagram. And who is the person who is responsible for all the problem? And highly versatile. There's an emerging approach and creative art therapy, creative movement therapy, creative dance therapy, creative writing, creative writing. There are creative reading. So there are coming approaches there, and this approach can also be used and scientifically. We cannot say that all the people who are practicing are expert and they can able to give reliable information. No. Only thing is you ask your consent that whether the input what we received is effective or not. Based on that we can decide. I will just recap what we were discussed today. As I said earlier, models and approaches are the same thing. And I'm given in a one perspective of models of counseling. There are different perspectives that we can have this. For example, when you study about steps involved in counseling, okay, one person say that in directive counseling there are different steps are there. Non-directive counseling there are different steps are there, and these were the thing also comes under models. But I discussed here that the yeah, different approaches having how to deal with the client. So that component only we discussed. There are 12 approaches are there. If you ask me that only these 12 are there, no, there are some more technique may be there. I may not be included when you search and you can add that because in counseling it is a dynamic one. Like personality, counseling also dynamic one. Every day new approaches are coming up and we have to focus on that. I can stop here. If you have any questions, please let me know and we'll discuss it for another 20 minutes. We'll take a water. I'll come back. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, are you sharing the screen? I'm so sorry because
Your
of
voice
minute
is
I
little feeble. Can you speak louder?
So it's me, Archana.
Yes, Archana.
Sorry, sir, because of my network issue, I couldn't attend on time.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Um, did you finish it or you still have
No, I just now completed.
Oh, it's okay, sir, if you can send me the PPT so that I can read through it and ask
It
you.
is already shared in the group.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes. Any questions or your inputs on this topic? You can welcome.
It's not my doubt,
Hmm.
but I'm just confirming with you.
Okay.
Actually, for a client, we can use more theories, no sir. More models, sorry, more models we can use, no sir.
Yes, we can use more than one or two models. That's why we can say that blended approach. See, there are some approach we can go for only one component, and some approach blended and multi-model approaches are there. Multi-model approaches means for the same claim we can use CBT, existential therapy, and humanistic therapy. So that we can able to do that. That's your expertise now. When you know that when you mix something, when you are cooking something, sometime you may mistakenly put something that will be tasty. So likewise, we can also try combinations of models we can do. Yes.
After analyzing the client, we need to decide that one, no sir.
Yes.
First we need to apply this one. After they coming to this stage, we need to apply this one. Like that, we need to decide.
Good. We have based on the claim need, we can work on that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Any other questions?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So first of all, I want to say you have explained all the topics very beautifully, so we are not having doubt as such right now. But
Okay.
my one personal concern is, suppose someone want to become a CBT therapist, right?
Hmm.
So it means he or she has to do special qualification in CBT, any certification course or something like that.
Yeah, that would be better because instead of practicing CBT without any certification, if you have the certificate, that has a more value. Am I right? Someone asked me, how can you, even though if you have refer and even master in that CBT by yourself, and another person, the person who is not having the skill what you have, but the person having the certificate, and that has a more value among the people who are coming for the counseling. And the beginning days, it is like a visiting card. Visiting card will help us to enter the particular place, but the sustaining will happen based on our skill only.
Correct, sir.
Yes. And I can suggest you, yes, CPT, you can join a course. And there are many, even Albert Ellis Institute itself, they are offering the course. Aaron Beck, there are many institutions, but that will be little costly. But there are people who were trained in those institutions and they are offering the program, and we can learn it from them. And I hope you may aware about the Tamil Nadu Counselors and Psychotherapists Association. We are a group of professionals. We started that one, and we plan to start 3 courses. One is about CBT, another one is family therapy, and third one is child counseling and therapy. And these are the area we are going to focus. We are going to come up with certificate courses, and we approached some of the universities. We are waiting for the reply from those universities. Once if it is come, and you will get an university.
That will be great, sir.
Yes, we are waiting for it.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Yes. Yeah, we are having another 15 more minutes for Q&A. Yes, you are all eligible to join the association. I will do share, but for this time we are giving only annual membership. For life members, based on your active participation in that association, that will be extended for life membership. Thank you, Anita ma'am. Thank you. Bala Abrami, if you have any questions, you can let me know. She is one of the studious learner in psychology. Like Vishal. Okay, and then the weekend getting up at 9 is very difficult for many of them. I too take a lot of time to rest, but after joining yoga classes, I feel more comfortable. I'm getting up very early. Yeah, most of my friends are aware about that when I'm doing PhD. I never witnessed a sunrise or sunset. Sunrise I never witnessed, but after joining yoga only, every day I'm seeing that sunrise, and every day it is totally different. It's not a normal.
And sir, you are blessed that you are staying in such a beautiful place. I have seen many pictures you have captured and shared on Facebook. They are
Yeah.
really amazing. Means every time it's different feel.
Thank you, thank you. I'm focusing on that. I can other side also, but I'm not taking those parts. I'm focusing on the positive side.
So if I could attend the classes very soon at the morning because of network, I couldn't.
So
So
it's
I
okay.
was
It's okay.
much happy to attend your class, but I missed it.
It's okay. No problem. Sometime it may happen. I think there are two. One is they said that you are explained very clearly, so we understand the concept. So we are not having any question at all. So that shows that yes, I made it good presentation. I have yes.
But actually, you explained very well. Now it's clear. But after practicing only, we may get doubts, sir. So that time we
Definitely.
will contact you, sir.
Sure. You can have the follow-up at any time. The only thing, if I'm not picking the call, just text me. I will respond soon. And generally, I have an idea. Earlier, I'm not had this kind of person there. When we practice something, when we teach something, we have to check ourselves, okay, whether we can able to understand what we are teaching. And if we understand, definitely others will understand. Even counseling also, we can use that technique for yourself. Every one of us, we are the ideal example, ideal client, ideal experiment rat for our counseling techniques. We had all the cognitive, emotional, and behavior problems. You check with that your problem and try that particular counseling technique, and you felt that it is an effective, definitely the others will be benefited. So with that, I can stop here, and thank you so much for joining and supporting our initiative. This will be continued further. And if you have any questions, even after the session also, you can send it. And all the presentations, you can keep it yourself. When you have the free time, you can read. And in my presentation, I included 12 more slides in detail about all the approaches or models in counseling. You can read that, you can get the points. And if you're not able to get anything, you can let me know. I try to explain those points also. With that, I
Yes,
can stop here and sign off.
actually, before joining the session, I go through the slides. That's why it make me easier to understand the things that you have explained.
That is the purpose. I will send my presentation before my starting here, because when you do so, we will have more discussion and debates. We will have fruitful discussion that will make us to have more efficient in our counseling process. Okay, and thank you. And we will meet in the evening for another session. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.